Z, and we're reading Quest for Hope as a way to learn more about our lantern friends. Okay, so open up. Bam, bam, bam. Give me a sec. Crunch. Guy, I heard you were back on the beat. See, back on the beat because they're kind of like cosmic police kind of thing. So he is the John Wick of Green Lanterns. That's a good way to put it, actually. I like that. The John Wick of Green Lanterns. Yeah. So he's kind of a badass, Guy Gardner. I'll put it that way. Like, I feel like all the lanterns are kind of badasses, but Guy Gardner's got more of that, like that. My girlfriend, Aria, her favorite lantern is Guy Gardner, because, like, that's her type when it comes to guys. That kind of smart, alecky, smart-ass comments when, like, everyone's like, excuse me? Okay, so Guy, I heard you were back on the beat. About all this stuff that you don't see. 1. Damn right I am back on my beat. Brought the rest of the Green Lanterns with me. That means I still own your butt, cabby. Oh yes. Was in the cycles of infinite earth and saved the universe. Oh yeah. And I feel like I won't get into it. I could go on a huge tangent of Guy Gardner, but thank you for dropping that in the chat, Chally Games, because it helps. I like all the intel my chat has. Okay, so damn right I'm back on my beat, and I brought the rest of the Green Lanterns with me, and that means I still own your butt, cabby. And B, I don't care half a crap about contraband. It's info I'm after. Don't make me work for it, and maybe I'll tow you to a port so you don't get evacuated out of your busted airlock. No worries, it's never apologize for being, yes, the lamp is in my eyes. Yeah, you caught the symbolism, right? So, and the lamp also has this look of like a scale too, of weighing things out, and I feel like that's kind of like similar to kind of what the lanterns kind of do on a cosmic scale. So, old times then. You know the score. I say nothing that'll jam up my customers. And everything else is fair trade. Who I'm after, not even you'd stoop low enough to work for. Oh, thank you. You seen anyone wearing this? Whoa. That information is going to cost you. So he's looking for, I think that's the Blue Lantern sigil. So if you notice, like, the different sigils on the front, they all are different. And so Guy Gardner is looking for the Blue Lantern. Blue Lantern is hope. There's a whole storyline I'm trying to find because Kara Zor-El, aka Supergirl, actually ends up holding or wielding the Red Lantern ring. And I have read the Crisis. I've only read Crisis on Infinite Earths. I have also read... I've read Infinite Crisis. I haven't read it. I've read the synopsis of it and watched the live action of it. Supergirl is a Red Lantern, and she is the only Red Lantern to, like, free herself from the Red Lantern. I don't know if that's another word that's best for it, but Blue Lanterns are said to be the only way that you are able to relinquish a Red Lantern ring. But Kara goes into the heart of the sun, and it's such a beautiful scene. She like regenerates herself completely, and she like is free of the Red Lantern ring and is like almost like reborn because of our sun, our yellow sun, which is actually quite special. We should actually give it a little bit more respect in the solar system. Hello, the A1 gang leader. What's up? We are reading Green Lantern Quest for Hope. So overpowered. You know what? That's why you need the kryptonite and stuff. Like, and that's why with superheroes, it's like important to have villains and counters that are worthy of them. And it's why in Crisis on Infinite Earths, when Supergirl dies, I felt really close to that because I was born in April 1985, which is the month and year that Supergirl dies. So there's, I feel like, a strong connection to that character. And there's a level there too of her dealing with, being an only survivor. And Marv Wolfman said that the reason why they did kill Kara and the reason why she was able to even be killed was because she's in like the antimatter universe, right? So you need to create these things in the stories where logic exists. And I think that's what's missing a lot with a lot of the newer superhero movies is that, yes, these are fantastical stories. Yes, they're super. Yes, we are amazing. But it also needs to make sense because it doesn't, if someone's just overpowered, it's like playing a video game and you're just like killing everything. That's not fun either, right? So there needs to be a little bit of challenge. The monitor gave her antimatter abilities. Oh, yes, yes. Oh, let's not get into the monitor antimatter monitor stuff just yet. That I'll come back to Crisis in a later future thing with Supergirl. Just you wait. Okay, so Guy is basically talking to this smuggler cabbie because he wants some information. The cabbie's like, hey, I have some contraband in here. And Guy's like, I don't really care about your contraband. I really just care about some information, right? And that's like the case with like cops too. Like, I'm going to work with these like, unsavory people just to get certain information out, right? Oh, yes. Charlie Games, yeah, for sure. I would love your input on the whole Crisis storyline. All the different crises. Okay. Also, side note, in Doomsday Clock, Dr. Manhattan is super intrigued by the Green Lantern specifically because he can't figure it out quite. It's just a unique thing to exist in all universes. So it's just something to kind of point out. Okay. So now we're in the center of the cosmos. Ooh. Star map designation, space sector 0. So that's also like what I consider astrology, right? This navigation system to reality, to everything, right? And it's just like here, like we classify and make maps of things. And Green Lanterns, I think, a whole other important side of them is the fact that they have a lot of information. Like Mogo, the sentient planet that holds all of the records. I think of it almost like as a library of Atlantis, right? Or a library of Alexandria. This kind of idea of like where all this information from all of the cosmos is stored, which is why Supergirl asks Hal Jordan for help because she needs information. And so we see here too, like where information is and data and all that is also something that's considered power too, right? Oh, thank you guys. You guys, you know what? I'm just sharing. I always love how when I share with you guys stuff that I find interesting that you guys do too. Because sometimes you're like nerdy and you like read these things. You're like, this is so cool. Because there are clues in here of bigger truths, right? You know what though? I am not the only one. My girlfriends do love comic books too. It's just one of those things where it's like to cosplay and know the stories and all of it. I was like, that's how we bring it to life. Like that's how we make this real, right? That's how we believe in it. That's how we go back to like how we were as kids. And you're like, you know what? I really do think I can figure out how to make a lightsaber. I actually think if I work hard enough, I can figure out how to make a flying car. The universe needs all of us to reinvigorate that part of ourselves. That part that's just like, I don't care. I believe that's possible. I don't know. So I do have a YouTube. It's actually on my link tree if you check it. I have my latest videos there where we talk about totem animals and stuff. Thank you, Angelic Dark Super. Oh, yes, I am Jessica Cruz, Captain Carrot. Yes, I brought her back. Last time she was around, I brought her for my weekend read, and I was so impressed that you guys loved her so much. I love her too, just because I love the camaraderie. I love teamwork. I love ensembles, right? Where you have different personalities working together for a common goal, right? It's super fun to see how that works out because in real life, we're called to do that kind of stuff too, right? So there's lessons, there's learnings in all of these stories that are just because everyone, all of these characters, when you dream, they're all you too, right? They're all me, they're all you. And so when we play together, we just decide for this moment who we want to play as now, right? It's nothing to be locked into. It's nothing to be stuck in. It's I sh maybe we could maybe they'll cast me in the new Green Lantern movie. Maybe I could make that happen maybe somehow. Let's see. Hey Keaton, welcome back. Oh, thank you. Oh, I appreciate that. I look at this as like telling stories. We're bringing stories to life. And as I told you guys, I read this one already before live and I didn't get the replay. So this is serving two purposes. I have all of my replays available. I'm trying to do a better job of organizing it. Like, for example, my poor voice of one friend. Joe, I have your chart. I have your superhero chart. So what I do is I'm an astrologer, you guys. I'm a neuro-linguistic astrologer. I'm also a personal trainer. I was a personal trainer first, actually. I will forever be a personal trainer. But I've realized in personal training, what I was really doing was activating people. Because your body's part of it. Because I'm going to reveal like slight bits of Voice of One's chart because he's a Pisces, right? So let's say you're a Pisces. There are so many other parts of your chart that are uniquely yours that I can't lick the finger before I flip the page because I've got gloves on. So I have to be very careful that I don't miss anything. But for example, Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, is actually a Taurus. His birthday is May 20. He's on the cusp. He's close to a Gemini. So, and it makes sense too. I don't know if you guys heard that, but my Wolfie did his cameo of like barging into the bedroom, into my oh, thanks, Shireen. Hello, welcome to the late comic book read. So I'm gonna finish this. I'm gonna close the door. My dog opened up the door. One sec. Okay. So when you create characters, including the characters that you make yourself, for example, look at Elvis. Elvis created Elvis, right? Marilyn Monroe was Norma Jean, and she created Marilyn Monroe. And so us, in our own lives, I think that you can have a bit more freedom in reinventing yourself and having identity, like a superhero identity, right? To help serve your soul mission here, right? And it can be a little bit more fun than the ones that were almost like forced to play for things like work. Read Invincible with Adam Eve Coswell. Oh yeah, I love her actually. Pradilla 1, yes. Yeah, my Wolfie, I'm working on, Wolfie's gonna get a little Green Lantern sweater I'm making him. So it'll be Green Lantern core here, and if I can have my favorite comic book writer, oh, that's tough. Marv Wolfman has been a favorite also because he created Nightwing. So that's a favorite. There's also, oh my gosh, his name is escaping me right now. But I will drop that at the end of, we'll have that conversation actually at the end of this read. Yeah, I love Nightwing too. I have a whole series about Kryptonian mythology that I'm doing. So Voice of One, remember we were talking about how like Krypton must have its own zodiac and its own astro? It does. And did you know that Kara Zor-El was actually named after Kara, a goddess in Krypton, a goddess of beauty, who's kind of like an equivalent to Aphrodite or Venus. So that's kind of cool. Right? Mind blown. So I feel like there's a whole bunch of stuff on how to like calculate Kryptonian zodiac stuff. I am not gonna get into that right now. It's too much right now. But it's all to say that each character has a birthday, and because each character has a birthday, that is on purpose. It provides a little bit of nuance into who that individual is as they play with everybody else. I don't know the charts of the other Green Lanterns, but that would be a fun thing to do going forward. Like, okay, these are all the different charts, and you look at kind of like the constellation of teamwork, right? So I don't know if you guys have ever played on team sports before, or do we know? So here's the thing. Kal-El was a baby. Well, actually, no, he was born on Krypton though still, right? Good question. Good question. Because if you think about Superman's birthday, it's leap day, right? And originally what they said was that Superman's birthday was leap day because that's to account for why he didn't age. It's kind of dumb. He's Kryptonian, he's an alien, of course. Like, what the heck? But yes, that is to come in the future, because Nightwing is an old Kryptonian god. He's Rao, so there's a red sun in Krypton named Rao. Very similar like Ra in Egyptian mythology, but it's spelled R-A-O. And Rao has a son, which is this dragon who's said to guard the night, and he's Nightwing, and he's said to be the loneliest of all Rao's children because he operates in the shadows. But Nightwing falls in love with a beautiful, almost phoenix-like dragon named Flamebird. And so these two mantles are old Kryptonian gods that fulfill a certain prophecy on Krypton. So that's a whole bunch of stuff that I want to talk about later, but I came to Green Lantern because I was looking into Supergirl stuff, because she reaches out to Green Lantern for help because of information. So let's get into this, because at some point in time, right, Blackest Night and all of that deals with the whole universe of the DC universe. So there's some deep insight into how multiverses work through learning about the Green Lanterns, I think. Okay, so that's enough of a tangent. Let's actually just read the comic book, right? Okay, so we're in the center of the cosmos. Star map designation Space Sector 0. Shining like a beacon once again is the sentient planet Mogo. So Mogo itself as a planet is also considered a Green Lantern too, right? So if you wanted to choose a Green Lantern, you could also choose Mogo if you wanted to. Okay. Inside the Citadel, a meeting of universal import is ready to convene. But first, a private meeting between two of the Corps' best. The Green Lantern Corps and the Sinestro Corps under one roof? So how exactly is this going to work, John? I don't have it all figured out yet, Hal. That's what the big room full of lanterns is for. But knowing I don't have it all figured out is at least a start. That's a cool, you know what, John Stewart, I will say this about being a leader of the Green Lantern Corps. I can think of no one else who would be best suited for that role, right? Because you have to be this like mediator and deal with like all these different personalities in a way that they respect you. And they do respect John Stewart. So there's that. So over here, Hal says, John, about what happened. Me basically running away from the Corps. Kilowog already explained it all. You were trying to take the fall for everything bad the Corps was being blamed for. It's the dumbest plan I have ever heard of, which is why I don't doubt for a second that you came up with it. But you need to understand, I'm the Corps leader now. We're looking forward, not back. You are the best lantern for the job. You see the whole map, John. Say when and where, and I'll be there to back you up. This is Hal saying that. He's like giving us like, Hal's gone through some stuff with the Green Lantern Corps. And I mean also too, when Kara, Supergirl, my other alter ego, they find out that the Guardians, who are basically the Green Lantern's bosses, have some sturdy little secrets, and Supergirl basically tells Hal, like, what are you going to do when you find out that your bosses aren't exactly the good guys? It's like something that I think all of us maybe have had to deal with, where you're working a job like trying to pay bills and stuff, and it's a job that's like literally in conflict with your heart or your soul purpose. There's like a incongruency there, and it's something to deal with. The Guardians deal with it, but it's something to realize that no one's infallible, right? Including those who watch over the universe. So Jon Stewart is probably the best leader because he's willing to admit when he doesn't know what's going on just yet. He's being transparent with his team, but also confident at the same time. That's a good leadership skills, I'll say. So I'll just repeat what Hal says here, because he's just basically saying, like, I support you, Jon Stewart, as being the leader of the Green Lantern Corps. You're the best lantern for the job. You see the whole map. I'm glad to hear you say that. The Corps looks up to you. Your service record and your voice mean something in these halls. If you vouch for Sorank and her group of Yellow Lanterns, it'll go a long way towards bringing everyone together. So we have the Yellow Lanterns under the same roof as the Green Lanterns here on Mogo to hopefully work together. And I think like Sinestro Corps, and I don't know if they're together all the time, the Yellow Lanterns and the Sinestro Corps. You guys let me know. I don't think that they're always... Because someone asked before in the chat being like, why are the Yellow Lanterns called Sinestro Corps? I'm like, I don't know if that's all the Yellow Lanterns. Isn't it just the Yellow Lanterns that follow Sinestro? Unknown. Please let me know if you know that. So, okay, your service record and your voice mean something in these halls. If you vouch for Shrank, and her group of Yellow Lanterns, it'll go a long way towards bringing everyone together. And then Hal looks back and says, actually, I need to bail on the big meeting, John. Sorry. There's something else I actually have to do. So Hal, as he's saying this, you can see John here. He's like face palming. he's like, being there for this meeting, it's going to be so good for the Corps. And Hal's like, actually, John, I actually can't make it. He's like, oh my gosh, Hal, really? Okay, fine. Thank you for that, Fitzkane. That's what I'm going for. I'm trying to like bring us all back to, simpler times of our childhood when we read stories that we actually love, It's just the ones that follow Sinestro. Thanks, Ibby8588. There are other Yellow Lanterns that don't answer to him. Yeah, that's what I thought. You know what, though? The Green Lantern movie with Ryan Reynolds, I forgot his name for a bit. It was a lot of things, but they did Sinestro pretty good. The guy who played him, too, was actually, like, his voice was actually pretty good for Sinestro. And, like, Sinestro, like, the character could look pretty cheesy. Like, he's kind of pink and stuff, but in the movie, I thought he looked pretty good. I don't know what you guys think, but I thought he was okay. He isn't a true Yellow Lantern. That's what I thought. Green Lantern was one of my favorite characters. But yeah, and you know what? I also found out when I was looking into Gotham mythology, that Green Lantern and Black Canary are two of the oldest comic book heroes. I think there's we can do like a little chronological order. Mark Strong is a perfect Sinestro. Yes, Mark Strong was his name. He was a perfect. I feel like they should bring him back, because he had that good balance of. Because you kind of like Sinestro too, right? It's like a weird thing. Epic voice guy in here is Ryan Reynolds' official sound alike. He works with him. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. Mark Strong was an awesome Sinestro. I'm glad you guys agree with that. He had that gravitas, and like, even though Green Arrow fan. They're those Green Arrow and Black Canary are one of my favorite superhero couples. And I love McQueen. I always call him Alexander McQueen, and that's not his name. Sinestro is more of an anti-hero when written by Jeff Johns. I love Jeff Johns, actually, now that you mention that. Alan Moore is one of my favorite writers for comic books as well, actually. That's the name that I was, missing from my head. Black believable to what he was doing. Yeah, you believed it. You have to buy it. And I feel like you can tell when people who are holding that mantle of the superhero have done their due diligence and really know the character, right? Booster Gold. I'm not as familiar. Let me look, because I can. Ooh. He looks cool. I actually. It's kind of funny. It's funny, they were telling us like different characters have different names, or sorry, different birthdays that are associated with them. For example, Supergirl's birthday is actually the fall equinox, September 22nd. Batgirl's birthday is the day after, which is the first degree of Libra, which is kind of interesting, right? They give them these birthdays. And so Michael Carter, also known as Booster Gold, was born on December 29th in the year 2442. Using technology he stole from the 25th century, Michael became a superhero, saving the life of the President of the United States, Ronald Reagan on his first adventure. Ah, time traveling? Oh my gosh, I'm not going to go down on a tangent. He sounds cool. Okay, back to Green Lanterns, guys. Let's do it. It's a cool background story. I think that there's opportunity there too, though, to have at least with my cosplays, acting out some of this stuff, you know? Because I could at least have hubby plays, and even you guys too, if you have certain lanterns that you guys, this suit, I got it from AliExpress for $5. I will drop you guys a link. If you all can be Green Lanterns or Yellow Lanterns, I would love it if that were the case. Okay, let's just keep going here. It is super comfy, and it's one of the only body socks I have that actually has, you can actually have your hands out, you know, like where it's not, I'm still getting my Green Lantern ring. Don't kill me. I don't have it yet. I've been looking for one. I guess I could have made it, but I'm not there yet with cosplay yet. Thank you, Satan Sidekick. Hello. Okay, so let's keep going with the read. Okay, so Hal has told John Stewart he can't make the big meeting with the Yellow Lanterns because he's got something he's got to do. John Stewart's like, oh my gosh, okay, so we aren't getting off to a good start here, Hal. And he finally is like, okay, go. Do your business. Follow you anywhere, Corps Leader. You're so cute, Hal Jordan. I have such a crush on Hal Jordan, too. He's fighter pilot. Yeah, I have a crush on him. Okay. So now, I'll handle mine. So Hal's like, I'm off doing something. And John Stewart's like, fine, I'll run the meeting. And Sorank, I hope I'm saying that, Sorank, Natu, and I have called everyone here to discuss what has never before happened in the history of the universe. Search the pages of the Book of OA. You will find no mention of what we are about to embark on. The Green Lantern Corps, wielders of the green light of will. The Sinestro Corps, harnessers of the yellow light of fear. Old enemies, bitter combatants, joining forces. So here they're referring to the Yellow Lanterns as the Sinestro. Not Sinestro Corps, but they're just saying that I think he is calling them that. Yeah, the Sinestro Corps is saying that they hold the yellow ring. Is Hal still having an... Yeah, Hal's having an ego battle with John. I feel like, too, you find that, and they all like to break each other's balls a little bit, which is all in kind of good fun, too. Which is what I was telling you guys, too, though, when I was reading the, what was it, the Ninja Turtles and the Batman comic book, how, like, they always fight each other first. I think of it as... Have you guys seen the movie They Live with Rowdy Roddy Piper? And And like in the beginning, they fight, and it's just like one of those things where like even though you're going to be working together, it's like this measure of each other of worthiness. So it's a fight, but you're not really like fighting, right? Yes. All right, so let's keep going here. So old enemies, bitter combatants, they are going to join forces. Oh, his fear of being defeated. Interesting. They Live is a phenomenal movie. Yeah. And Rowdy Piper has some connections to my hometown of Winnipeg. His first wrestling match was in the Winnipeg Arena. Even though he's a Saskatchewan boy, Rowdy's a prairie boy, and I'm a prairie girl. So I have some love for that. And John Carpenter and Rowdy, they have said that They Live as a documentary. Put the glasses on. Okay. That's what I'm hopefully doing with you guys. That's what these stories all do. That's what a lot of great writers, a lot of artists have embedded into a lot of their work, right? These deeper truths, these ways of seeing the world in a way that you can't necessarily see straight on, right? Never thought about Sinestro using the fear ring like that before. That would be something to look into, like, because as I told you guys, none of the rings are bad, right? Including the Black Lantern ring, including the Red Lantern ring, including the Yellow Lantern ring. It's how you wield it, right? So I would be interested to know how the Fear Lantern ring actually works. Because you know how like with the Green Lanterns are cool, right? Because if you think about something like flight, because of the ring and it's your will, what you create is specific to your willpower, right? So you kind of like aware of like, oh, I'm creating hard light based on like what I'm literally willing into existence, which is like pretty freaking cool. When it comes to like the Yellow Lantern rings, like being fear, is it a matter of like causing fear in others, or is it like using your own fear as a way to empower something? So that's an interesting. Yeah, the New 52 is an interesting read. I have that too here, actually, Bay, a New 52 read. And I picked that one up from the library because Jon Stewart's in a relationship with a Star Sapphire. And the Violet Lanterns are all about love. And she, like, kills someone. And Jon Stewart's like, why'd you do that? She's like, well, it was for love, so it's justified, right? So therein lies the difference between the lantern rings. Okay, so yes, hate ring makes sense. So, because remember, like, you're talking about, like, things that are, like, two sides of the same coin. You don't, maybe, I had a saying before that the opposite of love is not hate necessarily, it's indifference, right? Like, if you didn't care, then you don't. But like that love, when you love someone and they betray you, the emotions that come up as a result of that, it's very complicated. So the ring with different intentions for good or ill. Yes, exactly. It's you that wields it. It's very similar to I'm bringing back Jean Grey and the Dark Phoenix tomorrow, hopefully I get that together in time. But it's the same with the Phoenix, right? These different energies that it's your unique way of how you hold it is going to be what comes out, right? Yeah, does that mean Sinestro is scared all the time? Maybe. Yeah, perhaps. Okay, so they're trying to work together, which is a good sign. And you know what, though? The Yellow Lantern rings look pretty cool. I will say something, though, about the chakras and the mismatch here, because will in the chakra system is actually yellow, and green is actually love. So it's just an interesting play here. Yellow gets... And I was the Yellow Ranger when we used to play in recess, Power Rangers, and it was because I was Asian. And to the individual asking about my nationality, my father is South African, and my mother is Filipino. And my father, being South African, is also colored. So I've got like a mix of like Dutch and Afrikaners. And like, I come from a tribe that's also like extinct now called the Hottentot tribe. So there's a lot of, I like to say I'm an earthling. I'm a child of the earth. Yes. I know Hollywood needs me to do that. R.I.P. the original Trini. Yeah, Fitzkane. Did you know that I can't pronounce her real name, but the original Trini, she was actually in one of the Crow movies. I forget which one. It was like a later one where like the Crow was like French, but she was like it was kind of an eerie movie for her to do as her last movie. And like how she passed was also very it's almost like a Power Rangers curse, like a strange thing about that. And R.I.P. Green Ranger. And crazy thing too about the Green Ranger, Tommy, my bestie, had a crush on. I had the biggest crush on the Red Ranger, but it's kind of interesting, right? Because the Green Power Ranger becomes the White Power Ranger, just like the Green Lantern like Kyle Rayner becomes white when he's originally green. That's kind of interesting. I don't know what that means, but maybe it's something. Okay, let's keep going, guys. The Green Lantern Corps has reclaimed its place as the police force of the universe, but we lost too many lanterns along the way. And the Battle of Warworld scattered what was left of the Sinestro Corps to the stars. And so, we have a decision to make. We can continue to focus on what separates us, pummel each other until there's no one left. Or we can focus on what everyone in this room shares, the desire to do right, the willingness to wear a uniform and be the first to fight. Good for you, John. Just trying to like inspire everybody, you know? Yeah, the desire to do right and the willingness to wear a uniform and be the first to fight. You know, go in first, lead from the front. I totally agree with that, John. And then she says, and just maybe we'll keep creation from careening towards cataclysm. She looks like she's kind of related to Sinestro, right? The whole like pink skin. I'm not exactly who she is. Her name is Soranik. I don't know if I'm saying her name right. Kyle, we're leaving. Oh, what the heck? Oh, I guess this is where Hal went to. I'm going to cut here. So these are the Guardians here, the blue guys. Kyle, we're leaving. Yes, Kyle Rayner, the White Lantern is needed elsewhere. Hang on, Ganthet. I want to hear John and Soranik. Far more important is the task that awaits you and Hal Jordan. So remember Hal's like, I have something else to do besides the meeting, and he flies off. And I guess Kyle was actually attending the meeting because he's like, he's like here. And so Cal busts in. He's like, Kyle, we got to get out of here. And then we are the last of the Guardians of the Universe. So the Guardians of the Universe. And Miss Arisa shows like one. Oh yeah. I love my sassy hothead pixie girls. They're always fun. Okay, so we are the last of the Guardians of the Universe. In this matter, we have no doubt. Wonderful. Nothing horrible ever began with those words. You'll each be assigned new partners, one Green Lantern and one Yellow Lantern per sector. So basically they're splitting up the sectors and you're going to have, that would be a cool movie, right? Like if you had the Yellow Lanterns and Green Lanterns like partners, that's a trope too, you know, like buddy cop where like the partners like are from like different sides of the universe. One's yellow, one's green. And then here, you've no doubt noticed there aren't enough Sinestro Corps members to go around. We're going to bring in the rest and put the choice to them. So they only have a certain amount of green, Yellow Lantern Corps here, like willing to work with the Green Lanterns right now. But she's saying that they're going to bring in the rest of them from around the galaxy. And Jon Stewart adds to that saying, redemption or to the, what is this? Science cells? Well, that sounds horrible. Either redemption and work with us, or we're going to experiment on you. Alienation was called. I remember Alienation. That was good. When human, that was actually. There's a weird scene from that I need to show you guys where he like births something. There were so many trippy, fun shows back in the day, guys. I miss those days. Okay, like, what was it? Quantum Leap, Sliders, all these kind of like trippy shows that just existed. It wasn't such a big deal. Okay, look at this. I love this panel, you guys. I'm nerding out here. Look, Hal, Kyle, they're off on their like their mission together. Oh, hey, Spider Carnage, welcome, welcome. Okay, so they're on their little side mission while, yes, the splash page. Yes. Oh my gosh, thank you for the official term. That is the correct term for it, the splash page. It's so funny. I use splash page because I used to be a digital project manager. We use splash page as like a term in web design. So it's kind of funny. Yes. Love Kyle. Yeah. Side quest, but very important side quests though. You know, like sometimes there's just side quests that aren't important. I remember playing Borderlands with my sister. Borderlands 3, which we're still playing. Epic rap battles, Deadpool versus Boba Fett. Oh my gosh, I so should. But we were playing Borderlands 3. I don't know if you guys have played it. Claptrap's in it. Don't watch the movie. The movie's bad. There's no story in Borderlands 3, so they needed to make one to actually make that work. And so they didn't, and so it was bad. Regardless, we started Borderlands 3. I have a lot of love for it because I like took a break from gaming for a while because I was working and was like no fun. And then I came back to it. My sis got me an Xbox Series X because she worked for Microsoft at the time, and we started to play Borderlands. So when we started playing Borderlands, it's an RPG first-person shooter, right? But you have side quests. And so in the beginning, freaking Claptrap sends us on this quest. Thanks per energy. Sends us on his quest to like go pick up parts for him, right? You don't need to do this quest. You know, like certain quests in like Tank Girl was better, I think. I liked Tank Girl. I remember Tank Girl and it was better. Borderlands 3, considering the source material, just doesn't have enough like mayhem and shoe stings and like craziness, you know? Anyways, point is, Claptrap sent us on a quest. We didn't want to do the quest anymore. Because I was asking my sister, I'm like, do we need to do this? Is this like a necessary thing? Because sometimes some quests are necessary, right? You need to do side quests to like pick up a weapon, get experience points, all this kind of stuff so you can do the main quest, right? But some side quests are literally useless. They're terrible. And so I'm like, the XP is not worth this. I don't want to do this quest. And so that's what I think of in our own lives. We have to be aware of too, that sometimes we end up on these like side tangents and nothing's wasted, right? Everything gives you XP, right? They give you the experience points in this like journey of life. But some side quests, they go on too long and they're wasting your time. And you know what? No, this is not one of those side quests. This side quest that Kyle Rayner and Hal Jordan are doing together is quite important. So they are accelerating across the transluminal space together. You going to tell me about what this is all about, Hal? He's just like, you told me to come with me and just like, explain. I do try to do this nightly. So my schedule, my official schedule I'm trying to work with is from Monday to Thursdays, midnight is when I do the comic book reads. Everything else is just kind of like whatever I can kind of pull together. But even these, like my midnight, what is time though, you guys? You know, as long as I try to do this at least Monday to Thursday, late night. So I'm trying to work on having a schedule too, you guys, because I'm aware that some of you are more Marvel people and some of you are more DC people and some of you like certain stories over others. So I will have that probably squared away very soon. Very soon. Okay. So Kyle asks Hal, the White Lantern, asks Hal, like, okay, like, where are we going? Like, are you going to tell me what this is all about, Hal? I am almost afraid to ask what job needs doing that only us two can handle. So out of all the lanterns in all the universe, only us two can handle this job. He's like, I'm a little scared to ask why that might be the case. And Hal says back to him, the job needs you because you're the White Lantern. Your ring taps into all 7 colors of the emotional spectrum. See, I keep on calling it electromagnetic, it's not called that. It is actually just called the emotional spectrum, right? And then the job needs me. Oh my gosh, don't say the Green Lantern is whack. It's not. I'm going to... Okay, well, I'll leave it because you're Bane, hardly thinking, and so I feel like you have to say that, so I'll leave it be. I'm going to put my glove back on and then we'll continue. And then I'll maybe take it off. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I love all comics, right? I don't discriminate against the different, publishing houses is the best way to kind of call that, but it's more about the stories. I think in each of the stories, in each of, like, for example, like movies even, like movies that are old or stories that are old, and then you only come across them in, like, adult life, and it's, like, maybe a child story. Sometimes it's a matter of, like, you were meant to kind of only get that story when the time was right? So there's something to it there. Okay, let's keep going. The job needs you because you're the White Lantern. That's the Green Lantern telling the White Lantern. And your ring taps into all 7 colors of the emotional spectrum. I love this next part because it's so Hal Jordan. And the job needs me because, well, I'm me. Oh, thanks, Moses. I do appreciate that. I was like one of those ugly ducklings growing up. I was teased a lot, so, you know. Yes, Kyle is the white one in this case. Are there more than one White Lantern? Because I'm only aware of Kyle Rayner. Like, he's obviously, like, chosen in some regard and, like, earned it, but I don't know if there's other White Lanterns. Because your accumulation of the colors, just like what white light is, right? So then now they're going to arrive to their destination. Arrival at destination in 3, 2. There's not a lot of Blue Lanterns either, and I think the Indigo Lanterns are what come out as well of the Blackest Night, and they are Compassion. So that's... I feel like I would like that ring too, actually. Like a Lego Batman. Okay, and then now we're on this page right here. They can see that they've kind of like entered this almost kind of... It looks like... where did Obi-Wan and Anakin fight? What planet was that? It looks like that planet. Oh, wow. Oh, the only White Lantern at your grandma's funeral. Oh, it's like the light, right? The white light, that kind of... Mustafar. Yeah, thank you guys. Yes, it looks like Mustafar. Doesn't it? It's funny, my dog Wolfie, my sister has a dog named Dash, who's like a min pin, and when they play together, Wolfie always likes to go up on like the top of the couch. I know he's very cat-like, so he like goes up, he loves the high ground, so we always like laugh, or like, Wolfie's like Obi-Wan, he's like, I have the high ground. It's cheap though, he does it. I'm like, that's cheap. You're the bigger dog. You're not supposed to take the high ground. Okay, so now we're on Mustafar with the lanterns. Destination has been reached. And now they've arrived, and then Kyle says, talk about I love the lanterns because they always find the time, even though they're going on like very serious missions. They always have the time to make little funny quips. You know, just to say, you know. Talk about a vacation hotspot. Crumble. You're right. Low-hanging fruit. I was going to say tourist trap, but honestly, that isn't any better. Kyle, I'm bummed. I mean, this is what you guys have said, like, Kyle's an artist, right? So he's now talking about himself as an artist. So, there's actually another superhero, I think, who's a comic book artist. I need to figure out remember who that is. It'll come to me later. So Kyle says here, I'm bummed. I mean, an artist. My chosen medium is oil on canvas, but comedy is an art form. So, Kyle. Is Guy Gardner in that book? Guy Gardner is in this book. He's in the beginning because he's trying to work with... There's two things going on in this story. Guy Gardner actually has his own splash page. I'll just go back to that just so you guys can see it. See? So Guy Gardner and Jon Stewart are basically doing their due diligence back with the Yellow Lantern Corps to kind of like put it back together. They went through a whole thing because the Guardians, who were their bosses, turned out to be not so infallible and worthy, perhaps, of telling everybody what to do, and had some secrets. So, you know. All right, so they are now on this mission, Kyle and Hal, and they're on Mustafar, hot hell realm of some sort. And look, oh, I love this. Look at them working together. You know? Oh, I want this. Can I have this live action, please? Oh. So we've got... And Hal says... I'm trying to make sure the glare doesn't quite get it. They got tons of secrets and botched plans. 100% best buds. I love it. I love the bromances, you guys. Look around. I'm the only other person here, and so I am not exaggerating when I say no one cares about your jokes. Focus up. This is Hal telling this to Kyle. You're one to say about not telling jokes. And then Kyle says, okay, focus. I got it. We don't have much time. This planet is about to collapse. Use your ring and tell me if you detect hope anywhere. Hope? In this place? Now you're joking. Not even a little. I was told to find hope. Oh, because hope is the Blue Lantern ring, right? Ganthid and Saeed said I should start here, and being Ganthid and Saeed, they didn't really explain why. The green light of will and the blue light of hope are linked. So why can't your ring do the detecting? They also said this planet's conditions would wreak havoc with my ring's tracking. The connection in your ring, the White Lantern ring, is stronger to hope. Oh, best scene ever. Bats takes Guy out with one punch in Justice League comic. That is actually kind of funny. I actually read a Justice League comic, which was actually fun, with Batman and Hal Jordan. And it's like they first meet, and Hal's not aware that Batman doesn't have powers. So he's just like, wait a minute. Are you just a guy in a Batman outfit? You don't have any powers? And so while Hal is doing this and like basically roasting Batman, Batman steals his ring. And so when Hal tries to go and like do his thing, he's like, where's my ring? And Batman's like holding it. And he's like, how did you do that? He's like, well, you weren't paying attention. So it's just all things to consider, like just because you don't have powers, and like also the idea of like being aware of your own shadow. Okay, so they said that the planet's conditions, which you can see, Mustafar is not exactly like Batman taking stuff all the time. And also another thing Hal Jordan said to Batman, which I thought was kind of funny, was that they were going to go somewhere and Batman didn't have his car. And Hal Jordan's like, well, how else do you think we're going to get there? Because he used this ring and Batman was kind of like apprehensive. And he said, well, how else are we going to get there? Talk in a deep voice. But, you know. Okay. Wait till everyone hears. Oh, this is funny. I love this. Because Kyle is like feeling all good about himself because Hal's like, oh, you need me, do you? Do you? Wait till everyone hears that Hal Jordan, the williest willer who ever willed, needed my help to get. He needed my help because he couldn't get his ring to do exactly what he wanted. Classic. Hal's like, okay, just get on with it. Oh, Wolfie, are you leaving again? All right. He's gonna be back, though. Batman even took the chair of knowledge during the Infinite Crisis. Oh, I need to get Infinite Crisis. I've had Crisis on Infinite Earths, but I need to, yes. The williest willer that ever willed. You go, Kyle. Oh my gosh, yes. Oh! Oh yeah, Hal and Barry. Hal and Barry are best buds. They provide much needed levity. Oh, husky cuddles. Oh, the best. Love huskies. My friend Alex has a husky named Boris. He literally talks like roar, 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 roar. It's cute. I love that. So smart too, which can be a blessing and a curse in some cases, right? But yeah, Barry and Hal, like best buds, and they provide some much needed levity, I think, in the Justice League to counter Superman and Batman. Just because, like, Superman and Batman, I love them too. Like, they're just so serious all the time. So it's just nice to have, some others in the team who can, like, have some other perspectives, even though you're going through some stuff, right? Okay. It helps us too. It gives us, as viewers and watchers of the story, some other characters to also, like, relate to as well. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Rapid Warrior. I love your name. Oh, and Fitzkane, yes, it's my little hub, my little space hub. So, do you think we see parts of ourselves in comics, which is why we like that escape? That's a great question, Sailbar. I think you have resonance with there's two layers here. One layer is the comic book medium. Alan Moore has been quoted as saying that the comic book medium is sublime. The comic book industry is a cluster F. But it's true, the comic book medium is sublime. It's this unique way of telling a story where it's pictures and dialogue. And so it's instead of me writing out all the actions, right? It's you see it, and then the speaking parts are what are actually written out. And I love dialogue. I love writing dialogue. It's one of my favorite things to kind of write. Putting myself in the shoes of that character and being like, how would that person respond in this conversation? And so most of what we do is telling a story. You're totally right, Seal. Yeah. And so I think once I have Mushroomland behind me, right? I'm actually releasing a talk with one of my friends and someone I work with named Larry, who works with Decriminalized Nature. They're primarily based in Detroit, but we have more stuff happening in Canada right now. And it's all just about no one should... It's ironic, right? I'm talking about the Green Lantern Corps. We're supposed to be the police force of the galaxy, right? Now, who watches the Watchmen? That's the whole idea, right? Like, it's supposed to be that, like, we allow and we choose for the police. They should guard us, right? And protect us, not just give us arbitrary rules and, like, be like, well, like, do this. Just like in Toronto, where it's like, now you can't turn left where you used to turn left. Okay. And then they just pass this thing where it's like, if you, like, drive and you pass the intersection and your butt's sticking out after the red light goes, you get ticketed. But if the TTC does it, no problem. So I'm just saying all these rules are just like arbitrary rules, and the enforcers of those rules, if you don't just like that's the whole idea of like each individual lantern also like holding the mantle, right? And like doing what's right. The Watchmen, Jack Snyder wasn't really my type. Yeah, Justice League I like from Zack. You know what it is though? Like Watchmen itself is already a very dark kind of world, right? And so Zack Snyder does typically do things very dark too. I thought it was okay, that Watchmen. I feel like there is a new Watchmen, which is, It's animation and it's really good. Only part 1 is out right now, but it's really, I thought it was quite good because it follows the comic book beat for beat. Yeah, because Watchmen is supposed to be nihilistic, which is why different format. Learn to read from comics, nothing wrong with it. Different formats for different people. Totally right, Fitzkane. And also, reading comic books is a very unique experience from other books, right? In the sense of like, no two panels are the same. Like, remember we just had our splash page? You just have like one page. That's that. No other book or any other stories do that, right? Yes, that was it. Satin's sidekick. HBO Watchmen, so it was really good. There's an animated version as well, but oh my gosh, Jeremy Irons as Ozymandias was amazing actually in that one, if that's the one you're referring to. The only gripe I had about that was that they didn't make Dr. Manhattan glow, and I was like, why do you just look like you have blue matte paint on? Why couldn't you just at least have him holding something glowy to like have some sort of glow? I need the Dr. Manhattan needs to glow. You can't just be a matte blue. That was my only critique of that. Okay, so here we are. Wait till everyone... I want to reread that line because I like it. Because Kyle, I think you're funny, Kyle, even though Hal doesn't. Wait till everyone hears that Hal Jordan, the williest willer that ever willed, needed my help just because he couldn't get his ring to do what he wanted. Classic. Okay, just get on with it. Hope. So he's now, because they're on the planet that they are on, Mustafar, the Green Lantern ring isn't working as it should, or rather it's not as strong there. So that's why the White Lantern ring, which is connected to all of the lights, he has to come on this mission to help Hal out. So he reaches out for Hope. This is kind of cool. I like this panel here. Ooh. We need more. This is just one issue. This is part 1, Quest for Hope. I actually was going to do another read for you guys too, but I don't think we're going to get to it. So I'll bring Jessica Cruz back to finish off the rest of that one, probably on the weekend for the weekend read. Okay. It's faint, but I think that way, definitely. Not sure how far, I feel the trail already slipping away. We'll have to keep low where you can stay locked on. We dodge a few avalanches and lava geysers, no problem. Those aren't what concern me. So what does? I mean, besides you having a 1 in 5 chance at male pattern baldness. I love that you're going through all this, but Kyle, you have still have the opportunity to roast Hal as you go, you know? Okay, so I mean, besides you having a 1 in 5 chance at male pattern baldness, and then they're fighting these guys, and Hal says, okay, do you really want to know why I actually need your help here? Oh my gosh. Might be time to take off the gloves. Oh, we'll see. Oh, that's why. Da-da-da. The banter between Deadpool and Wolverine, yes, that actually works. It works really well. But I also think it's because of those actors that are holding those characters in. That's why it worked well as well. I do think that most of the things that deal with multiverses could have used the multiverse component a little bit better in the plot. That's my opinion for most of the multiverse movies as it comes to comic book stuff. Okay. Does that answer your question? So we have a big scary... This kind of looks like the bad guy in Metroid. Doesn't he? Does he look like Ridley? Is that his name? The space pirate guy who kills all of Samus's family. He does look like that. So they're up against this. So they're trying to... Yeah, I want to see DC multiverse movies, right? Like, I know The Flash did it, but I didn't watch that movie with That's not my Flash. I'm sorry. That's not Barry. I don't know. Ezra was not my favorite. I don't know. I want Penguin to wear the monocle and top hat in the show. I love that. Yes. Yes. I actually have a penguin cosplayer friend that I have on here. He's requested a battle, so I'm trying to figure out when that will happen. But I feel like it makes sense to do that mostly as Batgirl, even though Green Lantern has a lot of history in Gotham as far as comic books go. So interesting. You know him, yeah. So, well, he wanted to battle me as Green Lantern. I was like, Penguin, you would have no chance. Like, I would just will you away. Superman Legacy new suit, do I like it? I'll have to do a ranking on different suits. Superman's suit I'm usually okay with. I'm not, like, their modifications aren't too bad. I feel like Supergirl has way more variations in her, let's say, her suit, even in comic books, right? The way that they're drawn differently. Like, for example, my sister, she cosplays as Wonder Woman, not on TikTok yet, but soon, hopefully. She is so, like, she only reads DC. She doesn't like any Marvel except for Thor. And then also with Wonder Woman, she's like, Wonder Woman should only be wearing shorts. No skirt, no pants. Wonder Woman wears tiny little shorts. That's Wonder Woman. I'm like, okay, says you. I like the Reeves batsuit the most out of the live action, but for the cowl, maybe Snyder. Ooh, good choices. Good choices. You don't like the bat nipples and like all of the Burton stuff? Okay, DC, yeah. She's a big DC person, so she doesn't look at any Marvel. And because Jim Lee, I love Jim Lee too. Yeah, yes, I almost forgot. Ah, thank you. Gal Gadot, she's beautiful. I'm not gonna say anything about that. Gal Gadot is a beautiful woman, and so yes, I'd take her playing Wonder Woman. That scene where she's like running down the battlefield, and then she like blocks all the bullets with her shield, and she pushes against it. That's like, oh, so good. Loved it. Hey Austin, hey. Gal isn't my type. You know what? That's the thing. It's all about different types. That's why, like, your crushes are your crushes. Your favorites are your favorites. And it's important to know that, right? And it's cool if who you love is not who someone else likes either, right? I actually prefer it. Less competition. Okay, so let's keep going, guys. Let's see here. Mogo. So, we're hunting down the yellows. Can't do that if we can't find them. So, not all the yellow lanterns are signed in on this, right? So we're hunting down the yellow lanterns. We can't do that if we can't find them. My ring is no help. The data and comlink blew up with Warworld. So I'm guessing Warworld is where the yellow lanterns were? Perhaps? Not sure. Like a home base of some sort. Even if that weren't the case, the rest of the Sinestro Corps have heard by now that you're with us. Any information you receive from your ring would be disinformation. I knew our tech resources would be compromised, and so I decided to go old school. Human intelligence. And so that explains Guy Gardner at the beginning of this comic book trying to get information from some sketchy smuggler cabbie guy. Oh yes, Last of Us, HBO, Pedro Pascal. Really, really good. That was a really good show. Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, though, I don't know. I really don't know about that casting. That's still the case, though, guys, right? That hasn't changed. I'm pretty sure Pedro Pascal is still playing Mr. Fantastic. Hi, I'm Green Lantern. I'm Jessica Cruz Green Lantern, and I'm reading a very special Uno reverse card. Oh, man. Yeah, yes, the new show. I heard the new show is pretty good. I heard the new show is pretty good. Probably better than the new Joker movie musical, which breaks my heart because I love musicals, but alas. Okay, so Yellow Lantern Chicky here is saying that she's probably not going to get any good information. Disinformation is probably the case. So Jon Stewart's like, no worries. I got Guy Gardner to get us some human intelligence. I knew our tech resources would be compromised, and so I decided to go old school, meaning human intelligence. And so Guy Gardner, at the sound of human intelligence, I guess, comes flying over and says, I hear someone was talking about me. And then, I have the answer to all of your troubles, Johnny. Meet Cabby. Take anyone or anything anywhere faster than anybody. Cabby, this is the one and only Jon Stewart, the head honcho of this here Green Lantern Corps. Guy, I'm all for making arrests, but I sent you to get information on the Sinestro Corps. You said you had a reliable source. Want to know where the scummers are hiding? You gotta talk to a scummer. No offense, Cabby. Your words wound me. Stop turning villains and superhero characters into musicals. I agree with you, Keaton, Brian. I think it's also what they were trying to play on is, those like TV shows, right? Like Xena, Warrior Princess, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, The Magicians, House. All of these shows, what do they have in common? They had an episode that was a musical episode, and it was awesome. Right? So, so I feel like what they did with like Joker was like something that they probably should have just done as like a one-off fun thing, or maybe just done a stage show. Just had it specifically for the stage. Maybe just didn't need to make a movie about it. Like, for example, you didn't make Cats, the stage show, into a movie. What was that? No. I did Cats actually in my when I was in grade 12. I took drama in high school, and my final exam was doing Cats. So I have a lot of love for Cats the musical. So I didn't even watch the movie because it was just, no, don't do that. Stop it. Okay. So Jon Stewart is now talking to Guy Gardner because Guy Gardner brought Cabby, and Cabby is this like smuggler Cabby guy to bring them some information about where the rest of the Sinestro Corps could be. So he's like, do you want to know where the scummers are hiding? You got to talk to a scummer. Wait, no offense, Cabby. Your words wound me. Listen here, Chief. Corps Leader Stewart to you, buddy. I drive plenty of people. The twitchy sort looking to stay off the grid. There are a lot of loose lips around, and the Cabby hears everything. I hear a but. No but. Guy and I already worked out the fare. I'm ready when you are. We have to repair his ship. It suffered some unforeseen damage when I was convincing him of the worthiness of our cause. Done. And something that I'm mumbling under my breath. Say again? I told Cabby we'd give him immunity on all past charges of smuggling, trafficking, and every other non-violent thing. That right. Well, this better be impressive. Chief. Catwoman movies or shows since 2004. You know what it is, though? I feel like there was a missed opportunity when Harley Quinn came back on the scene to reinvigorate the ladies of Gotham. Because they're actually all very intertwined. They play with each other a lot in the comic books, right? So Catwoman, it's funny, the Riddler comic book I read with Batgirl and Riddler, Catwoman and Batman are getting married. And so as a result, Riddler starts to have a crush on Batgirl, and so he starts to like hit on her by like sending her these weird riddles and goes on this thing being like, I have fallen for your intelligence, Batgirl, that kind of thing. So, and funny story about the lore of Batgirl, in some cases she actually gets her mask or her initial mask or the idea from the mask from Catwoman. And Batgirl works with Catwoman and Poison Ivy sometimes when the birds of prey aren't all available, right? So it's just, there's some opportunities there to have more of that, but it just isn't done, unfortunately. Which Joker is my fave? My fave Joker is actually Jack Nicholson, I think. Heath Ledger is probably a second, I think. But Mark Hamill is a great choice. I feel like the voice acting is like maybe a different category of love, I feel like, too. Gotham City Sirens too. Ooh. I have where is it? Is it handy? Let me see. I have a DC Bombshells. Where are you? No. It's not handy. Oh yes it is. Yes you are. I have this one back. My DC Bombshells character thing. And not to like go throw things off on a tangent, but I'm gonna maybe if I can find the end of this one, because oh, look at this Green Lantern. Huh? Cool. Yeah. Mark Hamill is the most unsettling and accurate. You know what, though? Because the video games, and that's another thing, just like comic books, video games are another unique medium by which to tell a story. And how unique is that in the sense of, oh, yes, okay. Maybe I'll read this to you guys later. Not tonight, but later, because in this universe, Batman's parents don't die. Right? So how does Batman become Batman if he doesn't have that traumatic experience to fuel that character arc, right? Jack Nicholson is still my favorite Joker. Yeah. And Mark Hamill's Joker laugh is chilling, to say the least. That laugh is iconic. So, if we take that from Mark Hamill, I would say that definitely. Gotham, the HBO Max series is pretty good. Actually, I watched that too. The first season. I actually like how they did Cobblepot. I like how they did Penguin, and I watched Batman Forever kind of recently, and I thought that Jim Carrey made a wonderful Riddler. So there's been some cool mantles of, it'd be fun if we could have all of those best ones kind of like play together in the same universe. Okay, so we've got, I think I skipped something here because of my gloves. Here's the Chief. I don't know any other way to be. I didn't miss anything. I don't know any other way to be. And so now we're at the command center. So this is how it looks to have your name in lights. Talk, cabbie, or your next stop will be the tour. Talk, cabbie, or your next stop on the tour will be our jail. Where to start? I did a quick job disappearing a fare after the Teefers here took over his neighborhood. Another fare told me his cousin tried to hit on a miscongeniality at a shadow market gaming pit. Her answer was to feed the poor schlub his tongue. This one. Sure. Had a nervous fare who needed to sneak into a Dozen Prime without stamped travel papers. Couldn't sleep a wink for all the nightmares about what Brobeak did to his crew. Nasty habits. But I don't have to tell you that because they're oh my gosh, how do you even say that name? Zodarian with an X. Keaton, does the show get better? I'll go back to it. I'd love to see Jim Carrey do a more serious, less campy Riddler. Yeah, that'd be cool. Like now that Jim Carrey is I think Jim Carrey was 30 years old when he did the Riddler then, and like now being older, bringing a bit more depth to it, because the Riddler is also very, I will say the villains in Gotham, like the Arkham Asylum villains, are probably like up there with like the most nutball. Like Riddler's pretty crazy, right? I mean, Mr. Freeze is kind of meh, but like Scarecrow, Scary, Ra's al Ghul, they're no joke, right? Okay, where are we here? They're basically testing this cabbie guy because they went to the jail to make sure, like, okay, are you actually going to give us some information, or like, no. But he's proving himself here because he's able to like point out people and kind of like be like, hey, look at these, like, I know all these stories. So then, it's all right, Chief, say it, everyone knows you are impressed. And then Jon Stewart here just grudgingly says, okay, you got your deal, which is like immunity to everything, right? They're nonviolent crimes, whatever. And so, flashback to Kyle and Hal trying to find the Blue Lantern, right? And we have our crazy Ridley alien dragon guys on the planet attacking them, and Kyle saying, easy, big fella. Kyle, get out of here. Always playing me like your kid brother, Hal. So it's kind of like Kyle's always just like, you're just always treating me like your little brother. But it's just because he's trying to protect him. That too. This panel... Wait, hold on. I think I missed one. It's time to take off the gloves, guys. Just so I can flip through these without, like, struggling and then also, like, accidentally missing something. Which would be terrible. I want another Injustice. Yeah. I do too. I would love another Injustice. We will be revisiting Multiversity in the context of everything, probably with the DC bombshells, as we look at, like, character arcs. But that's to come. Let's finish this first. So, where are we here? We passed here. Kyle's telling him not to treat him like his kid brother. Kyle's saying, I can hold my own. And Hal says, this is not a contest. You can draw a bead on the last spark of hope. I am going to do what I do. You go find hope. So Kyle's like, all right, fine. Everything else, krakoom. And so Kyle's out. He's like, shout if you need backup. Hal's like, I'm going to just muddle through. Hope. So he's off looking for hope, right? Coom. Sorry, but I need to let Kyle get where he's going. I love this panel, right? Yeah. It's cool. Like, again, it's almost like a way of it looking across, right? So, I'm sorry, but I need to let Kyle get where he's going. Foosh. Why does it feel like Hal gave me the hard job? He's taking his time, as usual. I should have picked the Death Dragons. It's the more metal way to go. So Kyle's like trying to find the Blue Lantern, and meanwhile Hal is like holding off the Death Dragons, and it's kind of like this thing of like each of them thinks that their job is the hardest, right? So like, this is so difficult. It's more than likely both of their jobs are difficult, right? But they both just need to be done. So I should have picked the Death Dragons. It would be the more metal way to go. Gah! Flash! And then Hal's here. He's like, artists, am I right? Who? And then it looks like Kyle is probably approaching. Oh, here we are. He found him. He found the Blue Lantern. He found Saint Walker. Relinquish your hope. You are prey to the misery mound, Saint Walker. Dun, dun, dun. Next, Hope extinguished. So we are now at the next part. So I don't know if there's anything left here. Sometimes there's an epilogue of like what's going on with the Sinestro Corps. No. There's this cool suit though. That looks cool. I wouldn't mind something like that. Little mech suit. I'm going to do... So that was the Green Lantern reading for tonight. I was supposed to do, you guys, the second part of this one too. This is the New 52. And I chose this one because it has the Star Sapphire Corps, and John Stewart and Yara are actually in a relationship together, and it's kind of fun seeing their dynamic as they go through different missions together, because Yara loves John Stewart, and her justifications for a lot of things are because like she loves him, and she tries to oversimplify things as a result, but John Stewart's just kind of like, I don't know if I can say I love you back because I don't, like, it's complicated. And Yara's like, it's not complicated, just say it. So it's an interesting read. I will revisit this with you guys because I already read a little part of it before, and then we'll probably do this on Saturday. I think it'll be like a Saturday afternoon kind of read, I think. Not to say that it's more lighthearted, but it's not like Crisis, and it's not like Justice League Dark, where there are a lot more like heavy themes involved, right? But I did want to, before we wrap tonight, you guys, thank you so much for joining me as Jessica Cruz Green Lantern. We're just going to say goodbye. I hope you had a wonderful time reading about not just the Green Lanterns, but the other lanterns as well. I am sourcing more of like the War of Light, you know, to get more of a sense of that. And once I have all the scheduling set up, I will let you all know. All of my replays that you get on, you can get from TikTok on my YouTube channel. It's just not organized yet. So I'm working on that. Please bear with me. But if you specifically want a specific reading, please message me and I will make sure to prioritize it. Because I have quite a few in my like, what do you want to call it? Not my back burner because I'm actively working on it, but when I edit them, as you guys can see, it's like backwards when you see it, but I edit them so it's flipped, and then also so you can see the panels nice and close. And I also edit out all the extra tangents unless they're relevant because that's the beauty of being on the live. The live is always unique and different each time, even though it's the same comic book. It's because you guys are what makes it unique. Your experience, your interaction with these beautiful characters. So that brings every live read its own different, unique kind of flavor. So DC Bombshell. So I'm working on actually, oh, thank you for the gift. That was a unique one. TGIF.